So you guys have been wondering, we've had all this discussion about college applications, but where do I actually apply to colleges from? And that's where Common App comes in, which is this website over here. Common App is an online platform where you can apply to 90% of colleges with just one application. And I say 90% because certain schools have their own websites to apply from. Some examples that come to mind are Rutgers University in New Jersey and Brooklyn College. But nevertheless, the application process is pretty much the same. And so my goal here today is to familiarize you with Common App and show that applying to colleges is quite simple and there's nothing to really be overwhelmed with. And so getting into this, the first step is to obviously create your account, which is the easiest step. So I'll just sign in from here. And so there are a number of tabs that I'm going to run through one by one. We'll start with the Common App tab. And here you'll see profile, family education, testing, activities, and writing. From profile to testing is pretty much just putting in your personal information. And in education and testing, you'll be inputting your GPA, official transcripts, and SAT and AP scores. So for example, in testing, you could see indicate all tests you wish to report, SAT and AP subject tests, and here you send your scores. So you just submit it to Common App once, and when you apply to colleges, they all receive it basically, instead of sending it to every school one by one. And so activity section, which is something that we talk a lot about. So once again, there are a multitude of activities that you can input into Common App. These include arts or music. Well, Berabla talked about this a lot already. So clubs, community engagement, family responsibilities, hobbies, sports, worker volunteering, internships, etc. And generally, the format you want to follow is you want to put your most meaningful and important activities at the top and go down that way. And as Berabla also mentioned, there's a maximum of 10 activities. Generally, you want to fill up all these spaces and try to fill them up with meaningful activities. And so just some examples from my own application. For example, here, activity type, I did an internship. The position is a dental intern at Aesthetic Smile Design. That's the name of the organization. And you're going to give a brief description for each activity, which is 150 characters. So you really want to, like, one common thing you may think is, oh, how am I going to write all this stuff? I guarantee that your biggest problem is going to be to shorten everything, to include as many things as possible in your descriptions. And so here I wrote a short and like straight to the point: administered teeth and gum evaluations, observed and assisted with oral surgeries, root canals, orthodontics, etc., promoted a team environment. So just a brief description of my role as a dental intern. And we always tell you guys to commit to something for as many years as you can. And so this is where you show it to the colleges, participation grade levels. So from 9 to 12, I just did this for 1 year, 11th grade, and during school break. And also another key thing is that you input your own hours and weeks that you spend on this internship. And also you have the choice to check if you intend to participate in a similar activity in college, and you should generally just put yes for all of those. Um, so yeah, some other examples: community service and volunteering, where I founded my own organization to support the poor people in New York. And so athletics, I did soccer for 4 years, so I also included that. And I put this pretty high up as my fourth activity. And then moving on to the next tab, the writing section. So here is your personal essays. You guys might have heard about this. So there are two types of essays: personal essays and supplemental essays. Every school almost requires, or almost every school requires a personal essay. However, some are optional, but you should still write one nevertheless, because if a school is choosing between an applicant with an essay and without an essay, they will almost 100% choose the applicant with the essay, because it's a way to show your personality to the school. Like you might have a 1600 on your SAT, but the college wants to know that you're not just a robot and you have something beyond your grades and your SAT scores. And so there are different writing topics or topics to write about. I chose some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application would be incomplete about it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So I just kind of wrote about myself and my personality, and the colleges seemed to like it. Also, I'm not going to get into too much detail about the essays because we will also host the essay boot camp event in the future, and we will assist you guys throughout the essay writing process. And so stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's over here. And another thing is, it's a good idea to start brainstorming ideas you might want to use for your essay starting from now. So if there was a significant moment in your life or you had a really cool trip that you want to write about, keep like write these somewhere in your notes or something, and you could potentially use that for your essay. And so the next, I want to show how to actually apply for a college now, which is done in the college search section. And so I want one of you guys to give me an example college. You guys can unmute or write it in the chat.
You can try Stony Brook.
Stony Brook. Okay. So here we simply search up Stony Brook right here. So yeah, Common App is in network with Stony Brook. So you can apply to it through Common App. So you add it over here. And you could add and then it'll show up in the My Colleges tab. And so you could add about 25 colleges and apply to 25 colleges at once, which should be more than enough for your case. And so once we click on Stony Brook, you'll see the first tab, college information, where you'll see the application deadlines and you'll see the application information. So for Stony Brook, the SAT is sometimes required. So probably is better to send it. And then you will need your school report, which is basically your GPA and your transcript. Uh Teacher evaluations, which are letters of recommendations. There are none required, but three are optional. Once again, it's almost 100% better to send these out. And other evaluations. So these go into college advisors, letters of recommendations, as well as internship supervisors. And then here you also see the writing requirements. So Common App personal essay is required, as most schools do. And as we saw before, the supplemental essay. Actually, no, we didn't get into that here yet. Here, yeah, writing supplement. So this college does not require a writing supplement. So therefore, you would just be writing one essay, your personal essay, and that should be it. And then there's nothing here. Yeah, this is just from the Common App tab. And recommenders, once again, this is your letters of recommendations. So the process is you just ask your teacher, hey, Mr. Blah, 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 can you write me a letter of recommendation? Most of the time they say sure. You just write their email in the recommenders tab. They'll get an email and they write it and just submit it there. So your only job is to keep a good relationship, get a good grade in this class, and then towards your senior year, just ask him if you can write a letter of recommendation. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So as you see, there's not much to it. Maybe the personal essays kind of the topic that gets the most people or worries most people. But once again, we're always here to help. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. Actually, Berrabla talked about this already, but I want to get back into niche.com. So let's say you're interested in applying to Stony Brook. So you could search it over here and there's a bunch of different tabs. So for example, rankings, admissions, will you get in? This is kind of the most important. So it has a 50% acceptance rate. And you could see the stats of other students who got in. So for example, SAT ranges between 1300 and 1500. So you can compare yourself to these stats and determine that way whether, okay, is the school a safety for me? Is it a target or is it a reach for me?